Hi guys, welcome to the class. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about what are the different types of crossings we have and the different types of turnouts and also types of switches, three-way switch like that. In this lecture, the main point on point and crossings are very peculiar arrangement used in permanent ways to guide the trains in the for the directional change. These points and crossings help the train to change their direction. And here, points, crossings, turnouts, and crossovers. These are all such related terms and arrangements by which different routes, either parallel or diverging, or an or afford the means for trains to move from one route to another. The points or switches aid in diverting the vehicles, and the crossings provide gaps in the rails so as to help the flanged wheels to roll over them. Here, the points and crossings are useful for the train, for the locomotive to change its direction, to change its route while it's traveling. So, these are all the terms uh, related terms, points, crossings, turnouts, crossovers, and helpful in a uh, train or the locomotive to move from one route to another route. The points are switches which aid in the diverting the vehicles, and crossings provide gaps in the rails so as to help the flanger wheels to roll over them. Here, in this point, the switches are helpful if we uh, in olden days, in the previous days, in the earlier days of railways, these switches are provided with a lever arm. So if you pull that lever arm when the crossing is there, there should be a lever arm to 10 to 10 feet to a distance of 10 feet from the crossing. This lever arm should pulled downwards. So these the switching of tracks can be placed, that can be happened uh, in nowadays. These switches are maintained in the control room itself, and if a train has to be switch the track, or it has to be cross, or it has to be turned out, if any crossovers should be placed in the ongoing rail in the locomotive, they simply switch this uh, track to one direction to another direction. So these tracks providing such gaps to easily rolling off the wheels towards the changed course. So these flanged wheels to roll over them, these switches and these crossings provide gaps in the rails so as to help the flanged wheels to roll over them. These are the images. Here there is a crossing, and here is a turnout tongue rails. These are the check rails where the turnouts has been placed, the check rails which helps the locomotive or the train to maintain its wheel arrangement onto the track without any derailing. These check rails helpful in checking up of the wheel flanges in the placement of the rails. Here we have different types of crossings, diamond crossing and scissor crossings. Here are the turnouts crossings, and these are the check rails they have provided. Here you can observe in this image, these are the check rails. Here is also a check rail. So they provide these check rails to maintain the position of wheel, to maintain the flange of the wheel in particular position on the track. So, points and crossing assembly consists of three main components, namely point, lead, and crossing element. Here, in this image, you can observe this is the check rails provided. This is the crossing angle where the switches, the points can be placed to uh, turn out these moving rolling stock or the moving train from one major course to the another route. So this is the main branch line. This is the main line here, and these are the check rails provided for the main line, and these are the check rails provided for the branch line. And there is a left hand turnout. Left hand turnout from this point of view, there is a left hand turnout, and this is the lead rail. And here are we are placing heel blocks to maintain the gap between, to ensure the gaps between these two rails. And important terms in this points and crossings lecture. Points are nothing but a pair of tongue rails with their stock rails as termed as points, and a crossing is a device introduced at the junction where two rails cross to permit the wheel flange of railway vehicle to, to pass on from one track to another track. Crossing is nothing but a device introduced at the junction where two rails cross to permit the wheel flange of that particular rail to pass from one track to change its main direction to the branch line. These crossings are very helpful for changing up of the course of the track. So turnout, the term denotes points and crossings with the lead rails itself. The turnout itself denotes as the points and crossings with the lead rail. Tongue rail, it is a tapered movable rail connected at its thickest end to the running rail. Stock rail, it is the running rail against which a tongue rail functions. Against which a tongue rail functions. Switch, a pair of tongue with stock rail with the necessary connections, with the necessary connections and fittings. Connections and fittings. The heel of the switch, it is an imaginary point on the gauge line midway between the end of the lead rail and the tongue rail. In case of loose heel switches, in case of fixed heel switches, it is a point on the gauge line of tongue rail opposite the center of heel block. Lead rail, the track portion between heels of switch to the beginning of crossing assembly is called lead. The turn in curve, the track portion between the heel of crossing to the fouling marks is called turn in the curve. In this image, this is a lead curve, turnout curve. Here you can observe the connecting curve for the main track to the branch track where the turnout has been placed. Here are we are placing check rails, and there is a tongue rail be here. The main necessity of these points and crossings, because of wheels of railway vehicles which are provided with inside flanges, therefore they require special arrangement of points and crossings in order to navigate their way on the rails, giving precedence to faster trains in the same direction, giving passage to a train moving in the opposite direction, or for connecting places not on the direct line of track. The major function of these points and crossings, if if we lay straight the best fastest route from one destination to another point of one starting to the destination point is a straight line is very powerful and a smooth and a comfortable way of very easy in economical, also in the point of economical, there is a major helpful point for the straight path is preferred for that. So here, if any points and crossings has been placed, the if from starting to the destination point, the easiest and simplest track to be laid is of a straight path. But in some conditions, we may observe the track is of a curved path. It is majorly if any obstructions has been occurred, has been seen in the while laying up of a track in any bridges or culverts or any water bodies or any tunnels has been seen in a hilly regions or in a, soily structures. If the water bodies are provided, that railway tracks, that portion of the trains cannot travel, cannot be placed in that direction, so they have to be enrouted to while laying off of a track. These portions mm, play a major role in the laying up of a track. And also, if any major city in the premises of these two villages or the two cities, is there any major city surrounding them, this train route will join and pass through the city that has been developed and reach to the destination. So if the major city has to be connected between the two junctions, between the two points in the of the track, there has to be a point and a crossing, there has to be a turnouts has been placed in this point of view. So to switch from one track to other and to change the direction, these points and crossings plays a vital role in changing of the position, in the changing of the route of the train from one straight path, one direction to the other direction, from connecting of these cities or major places for the uh, for the locomotive. And also to converge the tracks or to diverge these tracks, these points and crossings plays a vital role. Crossings, a crossing or frog is a device introduced at the point where two gauge faces cross each other, two gauge faces cross each other to permit the flanges of a railway vehicle to pass from one track to another track, one track to another track. A gap is provided from through to the nose of these crossings. A gap is provided from through to the nose of the crossings. Check rails assures the correct movement and guides the wheel properly in the alignment of the uh, positioning of those tracks. So these check rails assures the correct movement. Previously, we have discussed these check rails may wheel, uh, maintain the flanges of the wheel or the wheel in the particular position and guides the wheel properly in direction which the locomotive is moving forward. These are the, if here is the switching rod and head rod of the switch. This is the connection switch stand where the connecting rod connects to the these, and these arrangements has been controlled in the control room, and a switch has been on and off here. The switch stand itself converts this switch to change the position of this track. This is the heel spread of the this is the main branch line heel, and this is the cross. Here you can observe this is the frog length where the interchanging the changing of tracks can be seen. This is where the frog length is, and here are the heel. This is the guardrail which guards the wheel of the locomotive in its uh, correct properly movement in the direction of the locomotive. And this is the curved main rail, bent and curved stock rails here, and switch through measured at head rod. Switching of these measured at the head rock. There is a heel block placed in these positions to maintain this heel spread gap between the two tracks. This is the straight main rail and the curved closure rail, and this is a guard rail, nothing but check rail, which maintains the distance, which maintains the proper movement of the wheel on the track. Here left hand wing rail, in this you can observe the frog length Here this has been enlarged, and toe of the crossing, this is the toe of the crossing, and this is the facing of the direction of locomotive, and this is the direction of railing, the head of the crossing. This is the flare gap, and this is the splice rail. This is the splice rail here, and this is the flange way. This is the throat of where you can observe this point is known as the throat. This is the flange way, and this is the point rail in the main branch rail. This is the right hand wing rail. Right hand wing rail. This is the right hand wing rail. So these are the overall length of the frog length, and these are the parts of the switch. And here we have different types of crossings, an acute angle crossing or V crossing. In this type, the intersection of two gauge faces forms an acute angle. For example, when the right rail crosses a left rail, it makes an acute angle. Thus, unlike rail crossings from an acute crossing, obtuse or diamond crossings, if in the acute angle crossing, if two gauges faces from forms an acute angle, and obtuse or diamond crossing. In this we consider acute angle when the two gauge lengths, when the two gauges of the tracks, two gauges of the tracks forms an angle less than of 90 degrees, is nothing but an acute angle. Obtuse angle, in which two gauges meet an obtuse angle which is more than a 90-degree angle. When a right or left rail crosses a similar rail, it makes an obtuse angle. Here you can observe here in this image, if the angle between the one track, two gauges of the tracks meets and forms a crossing, here the angle is less than 90 degrees, it is an acute angle. And if the crossing of the angle is more than 90 degrees, those type of gauges, those type of angles provided between these two gauges of the tracks is known as obtuse or diamond crossings. Square crossing, in which two tracks cross at right angles. In this image you can observe, if the crossing of the two tracks here is of 90 degrees, is of 90 degrees, sorry, if the crossing of, in this image you can observe, if this is the main branch line, this is the mainstream line for the main locomotive traveling on the track, and exactly for with the 90 degrees of angle there is an opposite track, there is a track passing through the main branch, and these cuts, and it is known as square crossing, it is known as square crossing. Here you can observe diamond crossing, when two tracks crosses each other at less than 90 degrees angle, then it forms a diamond shape, and if the angle is of 90 degrees, then it is called as square crossing. V crossing, here this is the frog, and in this is the V crossing here, V crossing here, and this is the frog length. We can observe here from to here. There is a heel block provided in this place. Heel blocks are provided to maintain the gaps between these rays, and this is the V crossing. And switches, a set of points or switches consists of the following constituents: a pair of stock rails, a pair of tongue rails, also known as switch rails, made of medium manganese steel To withstand the wear and tear process. These tongue rails are machined to a very thin section to obtain a snug fit with the stock rail. The tapered end of the tongue rail. The tapered end of the tongue rail is called the toe, and the thicker end is called the heel. And the thicker end is called as heel. A pair of heel blocks which hold the heel of the tongue rail is held at the standard clearance or distance from the stock rails. A number of slide chairs to support the tongue rail and enable its movement towards or away from the stock rail. These slide chairs, which support the tongue rail and enable its movements or towards or away from the stock rail, towards or away from the stock rail. These tongue rails can be placed with the support of the slide chairs, where to avoid the movement of these tongue rails towards or away from the stock rail. Two or more stretcher bars connecting both the tongue rails close to the toe for the purpose of holding them at a fixed distance from each other. A gauge type plate to fix gauges and ensure correct gauge at the points. Types of switches we have. Switches are of two types, namely, stud switch and a split switch. Stud switches are no more in use on the Indian railways nowadays, and split switches may again be of two types, loose heel type and a fixed heel type. Two of the switch is of undercut switch or overriding switch. This is the undercut switch, and this is the overriding switch. Wheel, spring washer, tongue rail, the here 6 mm of these switch rails can be observed on the with the main stock rail and the undercut switch, and here are the overriding switches. This is the stock rail and this is the tongue rail, and a spring washer is placed beneath the movement of the wheel. Here in this image you can observe the difference between the undercut switch and a overriding switch. Introduction to the junctions. Track junctions are formed by the combination of points and crossings. Their main objective is to transfer rail vehicles from one track to another, or to enable them to cross from one track to another. Depending upon the requirements of traffic, there can be several types of track junctions with simple track layouts. The most commonly used layouts are discussed in the following sections. Turnout of similar flexure. If in this image you can observe the path is of a curved path, and along with that there is a turnout provided in the similar flexure. So a similar curve of the branch line is provided with the main line. Here a turnout of similar flexure is one of that continues to run in the same direction as the main line curve even after branching off from it. The degree of turnout curve is higher than that of the main line curve. In this image, this is the main line of the curve here, and along with that main line there is a curve more than compared to that of main line. The turnout line is provided similarly in the same direction as of main line here. So this is the turnout of the similar flexure. Turnout of the contrary flexure. A turnout of this contrary flexure is one that takes off towards a direction opposite to that of the main line curve. Here in this main line curve, previously we have seen in the similar flexure, we have seen the main line is the branch line is curved and uh, passed through the same direction as of the main line. But in the counter flexure turnout, here the main line is in the one direction, in on one direction, and the turnout has been taken in the opposite direction to the main line main line curve. The symmetrical split. When a straight track splits into two different directions with equal radii, the layout is known as symmetrical split. In other words, a symmetrical split is a contrafluxure in which the radii of two curves are the same. This is nothing but a contrafluxure curve with the radii is of same. Here, the main branch line is split into two branch lines. The main branch line is of passing in this direction if you observe, and a symmetrical split of same radii. This is the main direction of the locomotive on the track, and this is the symmetrical split we can observe with the uh, two tracks has been provided, one branch line and another two branch lines from the one main line has been provided with the symmetrical split of the same radii is provided to the two curves of the tracks. Here this is nothing but a symmetrical split. The salient features of a symmetrical split are: the layout consists of a pair of points, four curved lead rails, and two check rails provided to maintain the um, movement of the wheel of the locomotive properly. The layout is symmetrical about the center line. This means that the radii of the main track as well as of the branching track are equal. Here this is the center line of this main track. So we have provided a four lead rails. This is one, two, three, four rails, and a pair of two check rails has been provided, and a center line for the main line with the similar angle maintained here for the cut of these main line and branch line from the single main line. So the layout provides facilities for diverting vehicles in the both direction, the left and the right. It is suitable for locations with space constraints, as it occupies comparatively much less space than a turnout from the straight track. Three throw switch. In a throw switch arrangement, two turnouts take off from the same point of the main line track. A three throw switch can have contrary flexure or similar flexure. In previously we have seen that these three throw switches are used in congested goods ads and at entry points to locomotive ads where there is a great limitation of space. Here this is the three throw switch. The main line traveling from this direction is provided with the same direction line, and two branch lines with the similar split has been provided here. So these three throw switch is mainly useful in the goods carrying yards and to locomotive station yards, to placing of locomotives in the station yards. These three throw switches are helpful to maintaining the easy passage of good trains and also locomotive trains. A three throw switch has two switches, and each switch has two tongue rails placed side by side. There is a combined heel block. The switches can be operated in such a way that movement is possible in three different directions. That is, to the straight in the direction of the movement of the main line, it can pass to the main lane in the straight direction, and to the right and to the left of this. Three throw switches are obsolete now, as they may prove to be hazardous, particularly at higher speeds, because the use of these double switches may lead to the derailment of this locomotive. Here this is a three throw switch of similar fluxure. Here in the direction of this, in this direction of the moving of locomotive, facing of the direction of these are the heel blocks provided for the uh, similar fluxure movement of this locomotive, and a heel block here in this direction. There is a two turnouts has been provided to its right direction. in a similar flucture. In this double turnout, a double turnout or a tandem is an improvement over a three throw switch. In a double turnout, turnouts are staggered and take off from the main line at two different places to different places. This eliminates the defects of three throw switch, as the heels of these two switches are kept at a certain distance from each other. The distance between these two sets of switches should be adequate to allow room for the usual throw of the point, usual throw of the switching of this. Here we can observe there is a switch here. They will provide a switch here for this movement of this locomotive in this direction, and they provide a switch here. So the switches has been placed in uh, such a distance from each other, so the movement of these there is no derailment occurs in this three throw switch of similar fluxure. Double turnout with contra fluxure. Double turnout with, this is the image of this double turnout with similar fluxure. This is the main lane, this is the main lane, and these are the switches for the locomotive to turn out from one from main lane to the branch line 1, and there is an another switch provided with a distance from first switch to the second switch. There is a observed distance between these two switches, and the movement of this locomotive from one branch line to another branch line. And this is the double turnout with contra fluxure. And here in this double turnout, it can be similar to that of similar fluxure when the two turnouts take off on the same side of the tracks, or of contra fluxure when the two turnouts take off in this similar double turnout. For similar fluxure, we have observed two turnouts has been in the same direction, but in the double turnout for contra fluxure, we may observe two directions from the main branch line has been provided for the switching of this moving stock rail, or the locomotive or the train. In the turnouts should take off in two different directions. These double turnouts are mostly used in the congested areas, particularly where the traffic is heavy, so as to economize on the space. These double turnouts plays a vital role in the uh, maintaining of smooth passage of trains in the heavy traffic areas, and also these economizes the space of using the locomotive, of using these tracks effectively and efficiently. This is the turnout with a similar fluxure. This is the main line passing of the locomotive, and these are the branch line 1, and these are the branch line 2. For the branch line 2, we may observe the switch of the locomotive is here, and for the branch line 1, this is the switch point or the crossing point of this uh, from the main line to the branch line. And in this double turnout with contrafluxure, we may observe here the switches has been provided with some distance from each other. So the switch point for uh, left turnout is here, and for the right turnout it is of here. So if we provide these switches at one point, the derailment and the wear and tear losses of these tracks can be observed heavily. If we place these switches apart from one point to another point with some distance, the switches can be most effective and can be utilized more efficiently, and these also economize the space of the laying up of tracks, and this is mostly used in the heavy traffic regions. And a crossing between the two parallel tracks with an intermediate straight length. This is the crossing between the lanes. If we have to switch one main lane to the another main lane, there is a track crossover between these two parallel lines. So if a train has to be moved from this track to the other track, there is a switch observed here. This is the crossover between two parallel tracks. Diamond crossing. A diamond crossing is provided when two tracks of either same gauge or different gauges cross over each other. This is the diamond crossing. And scissor crossover. A scissors crossover is meant for transferring a vehicle from one track to another track and vice versa. It is provided where lack of space does not permit the provision of two separate crossovers. It consists of four pair of switches, six acute crossings, and two obtuse crossings and check rails, etc. In these scissor crossings, we may observe four pair of switches, four pairs of switches here. There is a switch provided here and here and here and there. There are the four switch provided on two tracks of the scissor crossings, and six acute crossings has been provided here, and two two obtuse crossings and check rails are provided in the scissor crossovers. This is a triangle where is mostly provided in the terminal ads for changing the direction of an engine. Turntables are also used for this purpose but are costly, cumbersome, and present a lot of problems in maintenance. Normally, a triangle is provided if enough land is available. This is the triangle crossovers. This is the triangle part of the tracks we may observe. This is the contraflexure turnout. This is the contraflexure crossings of the locomotive of the main line is can be observed, and these two contraflexures may join to the same branch line or the another main line connected to that of two contraflexure crossings. And double joinings. A double joining is required when two or more mainline tracks are provided. Here, this is the double junction where the locomotive, this is the main branch line, and if the switch is provided here, the crossing must be taken place, and there is a diamond crossing can be observed, and another switch has been provided for the movement of this locomotive or the train in this branch line two direction, and there is a switch provided in the other main line as moving of the locomotive in branch line. Thank you. In this lecture, we have discussed points and crossings and their switches, and different types of rollovers has been observed. Thank you, and meet you in the next class.